All right. We're back again. It is like 2 in the afternoon. And we're back here. I'm going to do a bit of a longer walk today. But, well, first, kind of want to mention that, I ended up getting a haircut with the haircut lady that I like talking to. And, you know, is that, yeah, that's better. It's a better angle. So I was chatting with her, and, oh, sorry, before I get to that, I did in fact finally put the video up. It took like 30 hours to upload, or like 26 hours or something. But it's finally up. Actually, it looks good, all things considered, but like, that is not gonna fly, in the long term if I have to upload a video that big. So I will have to, I don't know, I'll see if maybe YouTube does do 265, because if I can condense it to something really, really small, that would be huge. I mean, there has to be a way that, like, 4K movies being like 20 gigs or 25 gigs, like, there's definitely a way to make it look good but also be 4K. So I don't know. Anyway, coming back to what I was saying, I ended up chatting with my haircut person about just like, I don't know, the main kind of thing that we chatted about was how, and she caught it right away, and you know, it shouldn't be a surprise for me after I think about it for more than like 2 seconds, that my mood and everything, now to be fair, I was sick right when I got home, but my mood and everything just shifted. And it's almost like my body got sick because of the energy that I was coming home to, almost. To be fair, my nose is running on the plane, but I really thought about, like, just how I've been getting drawn into these old loops that don't fit me anymore. And I kind of realized the main thing about these moments is that I don't know. I spent a lot of time sitting in my room, or I was on the computer a lot, and I wasn't out in nature. I wasn't doing my walks, and that coupled with a lot of fear around what my next steps are going to be. And it's all kind of bubbling to the surface that it all stems from me living in a house that houses my old life. And there's a dissonance I feel being there. And that's why I don't feel happy being in that space, because I don't belong there. That was where old me lived. And old me is already transformed, and the 3D reality is catching up to current me. And so as soon as I kind of realized that it all really stems from falling into old habits because I'm existing in that house, well, the obvious thing then is to not exist in that house as long. And to basically get out of that and put myself in situations where I'm not spending a lot of time there. And I think a part of it is going to be the walks. I also talked about visiting different places that I might have wanted to go and visit. I just didn't have the chance or didn't feel like it in the past. But another part of it is really getting myself outside of my comfort zone, because the comfort zone is no longer comfortable. If that makes sense. It's like my past self and my present self, we don't fit in the same spaces. And in that same vein, what is comfortable for me is no longer comfortable at all. It's like painful. It feels like mental anguish. And so I'm like, well, fuck, why am I doing the thing that keeps making me feel mentally upset? Why am I doing that? It doesn't make sense. So that's kind of the first kind of phase of things. And then hearing that my haircut person, because I told her, I'm like, I'm worried that I'll fucking just be living in my car. Like, and I don't want that. And she's like, well, I'm the same way. I'm like, wait, what? And she's like, yeah, I'm struggling with, her partner. They haven't been really in a great space. She's been looking for ways to like kind of leave the situation, but also it's like it's tough for her because her business is like, she makes a good amount, but also she has to pay a lot in order to continue making a lot. So it's like her take-home pay is actually pretty fucking low for someone who owns their own business and is doing really well. And so I'm like, fuck, man, like that sucks. And yeah, so it's like it's interesting that she's also struggling in a similar vein. And I'm like, okay, there is actually people I care about and know that like are struggling with similar things. Doesn't mean that I'm happy that that's what's happening, obviously. I'd rather her be super successful and happy. But yeah, it's like she was talking to me about that. And you know, the first thing she mentioned is like, yeah, it's the fucking house. This is the house you're living in. Like, you know, you come back and you're sad and like depressed, and it's like you're falling back into those old habits prior to all of the stuff. Where's it all coming from? It's the fucking house. Now, to be fair, it's not the house itself, obviously. I'm not blaming the house for everything. And I'm also not blaming my roommates for it either. It's like, the house is a crystallization of the past. It's like I could very well just sign the lease for another year. But that's me giving up on myself because the future is scary, because I don't know what the future holds. And it's like, I don't know. I'm not giving up on myself. That's for damn sure. I've gone too far. And internally, I could not live another year in there. For my own sake. Not because the roommates do anything. Like, they do nothing. They're just nice. It's more about what that place represents internally, which is the healing phase of my journey. So, let me switch hands. So yeah, it's something where sorry, I was confused for a second. Something where I know that I'm making the right call by not signing the lease and just going. And so my decision won't change when it comes to that. It's more like the what's going to happen after is what really is questioning. And I'm aware. Fuck, it's like the little fucking flies are so annoying. Hold on. Need to blow my nose. Oh. Okay, sorry. I'm back. But I think well, there's a few things that are interesting. The 2 videos that popped up on my feed is like on my phone. The first video was literally like, you've gone through plumbed into the depths, and you've come back, and now you're shedding away all of that excess the excess baggage, and you're you're coming back with all the knowledge that you've kind of attained. And I'm like, damn straight I am. You know, I'm not going to forget about what I've learned. And oh, cutie. Hi, little cutie. Oh, there's a little squirrel that just scuttled on by. I don't know if it was a squirrel or a chipmunk. Oh, hey, little birdies. Hi. Oh my gosh. I say, hey, little birdies, and then they fly, but they hear me talking, and it's totally fine. It's like they know that I'm talking about them. You're fine, guys. You're nothing to be afraid of. But yeah, so anyway, my point is, I realize that a lot of the anxiety and all of that center around the unknown, and around the idea that it feels like I'm back to previous iterations of myself, to my past self, when in reality that's not true at all. It looks the same, it feels the same, but it's not the same, because it's a temporary venture as opposed to me being there for the long haul. So everything has changed in a good way. And then the second little video message that I listened to, the person's like, hey, just so you know, you're kind of going through chaos, and you need to embrace the chaos, because things will things will align for you right as you let go of that last thing that you were kind of might be a bird. Anyway, so basically, it's probably one of the birds that are picking through the underbrush. Yeah, and I can hear the scraping of the leaves. Anyway, so what I was saying was that as soon as you let go and drop that old, the rest of that baggage that you're, it's not baggage, but it's like, first there was the idea of moving in both. It's so funny, like both messages, it's like you're moving, that's a key message, and in the second message there was an emphasis on the idea that when you've moved and when you've kind of officially moved on, that's when this divine timing-esque feeling of like things lining up into place in a magical way, where you're like, I can't believe it happened this way. The opportunity, all the things that have been kind of waiting in the background for me to be officially moved out of the situation, will show up at that time. And so it's like, okay, well, I guess I know what I need to do, which is what I have been doing, which is the walks, the food, the, like, I gotta do more packing. And what I mean by packing is I gotta do more sorting. There's still more sorting stuff I have to do. So I'd like to be, if I can, by the end of the month, I'd like to have my official, like, my official set of stuff figured out on what I'm able to put in my bag, so that I can live out of the one bag for travel. And then aside from that, kind of do some sort of, I'm not sure on the specifics, but I kind of want to have the room effectively just empty, if that makes sense, and like have my stuff, the stuff that I'm leaving, figured out, Like, what is the bed? The main two things are the bed and the desk. What's going to happen with those? I don't know. But I do think that if I have those figured out, because, you know, it's possible that the roommates might just want the bed for the secondary kind of sleeping room. This is a decent bed. So I figure have that figured out. I also, as weird as this sounds, I need to try out sleeping on the floor with the mattress topper plus the air mattress that I have, just to try it. I'm curious to see like how good or bad it is. And who knows, maybe maybe it'll be good enough to where I could get rid of the bed earlier. I don't know. We'll see. Hell, maybe I get rid of both the bed and the desk. And I just use a folding table until time, so that I have plenty of time to get rid of them if they're not going to keep them. Obviously, if they're keeping them, that's a totally different thing, right? So I gotta pee. I just turn back early. I mean, I will say, like, it's pretty easy to just walk off behind a tree somewhere if I really wanted to. Maybe I'm just going to do an hour walk today. I will say, I do have the backpack coming in a week, so that's got, and the packing cubes are coming in around the same time, and the only thing left, there's two things, well, three things. There's three things that I kind of want to get. One is my own personal preparedness little kit, first aid kit. And then second is my my boots. Still want to get a really good pair of boots. And then third, I was looking at water bottles yesterday. I'm thinking probably the Yeti water bottles are probably the way to go, but we'll see. I'm not too sure yet. But it seems to be the only downside to the Yeti water bottles is the how wide they are. They don't fit in standard cup holders. And also, they don't have a straw. But I don't really care about the straw. I don't want to have to clean the straw. So for me, that's a plus. So really the only thing that I'd have to be concerned with is it doesn't fit in cup holders. And I'm like, well, I suppose what I need to do is measure how wide the backpack that I'm getting, how wide the actual water bottle holder is, because what I can do is if it fits that backpack, I think it'll be fine. Because I'm not too concerned with if I'm driving and I want some water, like, it doesn't have to be right there. I'm not gonna fucking die. There's also just getting 2 water bottles, you know? Like, there's another water bottle that's really, it's like sleeker and smaller, but it's really, it's not great at, like the cap kind of makes filling it up a bit annoying because the cap goes into the water bottle. But anyway, I'm getting a little in the weeds on the water bottle stuff. Main thing is water bottle, first aid kit, boots. That's my short list on what I need left before I feel prepared. I also want to clean out those 20 terabyte hard drives, because that's 40 terabytes of space. Now, I don't know if they're going to travel with me, so that's a whole other separate thing. But at the very least, I have tons of space. That, along with my Plex server stuff, which I'm gonna have to, the NAS server I have, it's 80 terabytes, but it's rated. So, oh, it's starting to rain. Oh, maybe this is why I was supposed to turn back. Also, it's 33333 on my camera. Okay, well, fuck. At the very least, because there's so much cover, I'm not getting hit as hard with rain. Don't really feel it at the moment. But, boy, am I glad I turned around now. I'm also not worried about the GoPro. Or, sorry, the Insta Ace Pro 2. I'm not worried about this thing getting wet, because it's fully waterproof up to, I think, 10 meters submerged. So getting a few droplets is not going to be a big deal. Even if it's raining pretty hard, it shouldn't be a problem. But yeah. So what's that fucking noise? Something's going. I don't know. Anyway, so what's kind of well, what else do I need to kind of think of or figure out? Aside from those three things, I still want to do the butterfly exhibit. There's a movie I want to watch with my friends. The alien movie. What's it called? Contact Day or Disclosure Day. Day of Disclosure. I think that's actually what it's called. I eventually got there. But, yeah. I think I also might want to look into a weather-resistant or rain-proof jacket. Because I've thought about, like, doing hikes and stuff if it starts raining. It'd be really helpful. So, yeah, I don't know. Oh, this is creepy. Got really quiet for a second. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think, honestly, I've been preparing to do this for a while. Some of it I just didn't know I was preparing for this exact thing. But, yeah, like, building up the confidence through the different traveling things I did. Getting my... the damn log did it again. It's this... Here, let me show you. This log is so creepy. Okay. I don't know if it's obvious. In between those two trees, like right there. It just looks like a person. Like with a white face. With like black, wearing like all black. So, it's kind of creepy. But obviously, it's nothing. It's just gets me. So, aside from that, I really feel like I have been prepping myself with all the little things for me to make this move. Because if I hadn't done everything previously, I wouldn't feel comfortable enough to step outside my comfort zone like this. So, yeah, I don't know. It's, it's interesting for sure that, everything's kind of landed in place the way it has to get me to this point. Because it is a pretty big leap of faith. And also, It's funny that the idea of that just keeps sticking in my head. Number one, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. That's just rent-free in my brain. And then second is the idea that starting to come down. Thank you, trees, for blocking out the rain for me. The second thing that sticks out is I wouldn't have done, or I wouldn't have picked what I'm doing if I didn't do all this previous stuff first. I don't remember where it was or when it was said, but that also stuck in my head as like, that makes sense. I've put myself intentionally into a no return kind of setup where I can't just go back. Internally, it doesn't feel right. Externally, it'll feel awkward as hell if I ever did that. And also, I know what will happen if I did do that. I would effectively be giving up on myself. And I don't fucking give up on myself. That's one thing. I may have come close, but I've never given up. And yeah, so I gotta keep trucking. But all signs indicate to me that doing this leap of faith is what makes the rest possible, because it allows for me to have the space for whatever this thing is that's coming, and that the offer wouldn't be here if I didn't have the space for it. Or maybe the offer shows up and I don't even take it because I'm not at a space where it makes sense. Oh my God. It really be raining. Thanks, bladder. You've saved me from getting too wet. Need to blow my nose again. I'll stand right here. Okay. If anything, the takeaway really is that it's really easy during the transition period to want to turn back if there's any semblance of a possibility of turning back. You can see how, I don't know if it's showing the rain at all, but oh my gosh, it is so heavy. Luckily, the forest makes it a lot easier. It's not as bad. Yeah, like it feels like a light drizzle through the trees. Then there's patches where you're like, oh my God, I get drenched. Anyway, so really, I think the big kind of takeaway from all of this is if you're trying to actively make changes, doing so where you effectively, once you know, so you have to know that you're going to be making these changes. Kind of pushing yourself off the cliff, so to speak, so that there isn't really a way back, is going to be helpful for people feeling stuck. Sometimes you just got to do the thing, even though it's scary, even though by all rights, everyone around me saying, well, I say everyone, both my haircut person and the, what's it called? My friend at the food restaurant, both are like, do it. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. Amongst the sea of dissent, there are people that recognize what's going on. So, oh, right. I want to, as a side thing, I also want to make sure that I go see the Reiki master, and my haircut lady, she said that she has a friend who's like a tarot reader, psychic, that she was like, you should 100% go and see her. So you get the Reiki master, and then you get her as two counterbalances, like you would in a book report. She used the book report analogy, and I'm like, oh yeah, you know, you're totally right about that book report thing. Because as kids, when we write book reports, what's one of the first things they tell you? When you're writing your book report, make sure to cite multiple sources. Why do you cite multiple sources? Because by citing multiple sources, this allows you to get different perspectives so that you can come to a better consensus amongst the different perspectives. It makes sure that, because everyone has a biased like look or perspective that they have. And it's really easy to get wrapped up in one specific narrative that someone spins because it makes sense, it fits, so you don't go and look past that initial perspective. And this is where instead you need to make sure that you get multiple perspectives. This is also why I have so many people that I watch videos from when it comes to the like tarot reading and all of that stuff. And whenever they start overlapping, because they don't know each other, at least as far as I'm aware, there's no coordinated effort to get certain messages through. It's just more like they say what's on their mind, and I've already filtered out a lot of the like the people that just didn't feel genuine or that I didn't resonate with. I've already filtered them out a long time ago. So now I'm left with, I don't know, like 20-ish people that have at one point or another said something to me, well, not to me specifically, had videos that have fit pieces of what I'm going through. And oh, this is just open. Oh my goodness. This is what happens when a bunch of trees fall down or get cut. Anyway, my point is, you basically, I'm just about here, which is great. But basically, instead of just listening to one person, I will literally let kind of the divine guidance, which I'll say, and this is something that I totally agree with. I also think you don't have to think about it as linearly as this person put it. But yesterday, someone was like, this is a hard thing to hear, but you know, everyone is you. You are everyone and everyone is you. And so when you pray to God or the divine or universe or spirit team or whatever, they are you, just different parts of you. And so, you know, it's easy for us to say, oh, yeah, we got like Big Brother on our shoulder helping us. It's like, that's just you. It's different parts of you helping yourself. All the really bad stuff happening, that's you. That's just different parts of you. All the really good stuff happening, that's also you. And so this is why it's so crucial to understand that we are all one, so that you can be kind to the parts of you that you feel are wrong, or that you feel don't match up with your current values. Doesn't make what people do that are considered negative, doesn't make it any less okay. Like, obviously, someone treats you poorly, you don't sit there and be like, yeah, just keep whipping me, you know? Like, you can stand up for your current self. But it's also important to remember they're all part of you. So, you know, lashing out at someone, oh my gosh, the rain is so crazy. Lashing out at someone, doing this, that, and the other, all of it is kind of, it's just you. And so if you understand that truly, then this allows you to give people grace, even if you have to defend yourself or protect yourself in some way. And that is the most important thing to keep in mind. But that also means angels, soul team, God, all of this stuff, they also are they exist and they're with you, but you just have to remember it's you who's giving you reassurance. Okay, I'm gonna go to my car. This is fucked. But anyway, something to think about. Don't know if I'm gonna make an evening video. We'll see. But I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.